Concept 3, graphing y equals abx with, ab to the x with a greater than 0 and b greater than 1. All right. And this does affect things, right? It does matter. And we'll look at that. We'll look at basically the opposite of this in our next video. But if we are graphing this, we're going to graph it just the way we graph anything, really, is we're going to fill out values for a table, and we're going to plug in points. So for my x, I'm going to start with 0. Okay, anything raised to the 0 power is 1. So 1/2 times 1 is 1/2. Okay, x to the 1, 2 to the 1 is 2. 1/2 times 2 is 1. X is 2. 2 squared is going to be 4 times 1/2 is going to be 2. 3, that's going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, or we're going to have 8 times 1/2 give me 4, and you should see the pattern developing here. This is still, because this is my common ratio, right? I am still doubling my value each time. Okay, so we can just fill in that the next is going to be 8, and then 16, and if I go back from here, it would be down to 1/4, and then 1/8. Okay, and once you see that pattern, once you see that ratio, you really can fill these tables out pretty quickly and easily. All right, so let's plug in those points. At 0, we have 1/2, somewhere there. At 1, we have 1. 2 is 2. 3 is 4. 4, if we had it down here, 4 would be 8. Okay, 5, somewhere up here at 16. And if I went back at -1, it'd be a 4th, and then an 8th, getting really close to my x-axis. However, if we think about this, all right, as my x value, as my exponent gets lower and lower, right, this fraction gets smaller and smaller, okay? It gets closer and closer to 0, but it's never going to hit 0. It's just going to be a smaller and smaller fraction, all right? So my graph, okay, no matter how far I go to the left, is always going to stay above the x-axis, okay? So my graph is going to be something almost like a flat line, and then start making that curve up, and as we go further over, it's going to get steeper and steeper and steeper. Okay, so it's kind of a curve that looks like this, and this is going to be the case for all of these types of graphs. Okay, any exponential function, basically, or equation that has an a greater than 0 and b greater than 1 is going to look something like this. Okay.